Welcome to Soul Led Lifestyle Podcast with me, Adele McCoy, and my magical guests, giving you the strategy, tools, and activation you'll need to create your soul-led life. Of Soul Led Lifestyle Podcast. I am Adele McCoy, and today we've got a beautiful soul on to share our space with us, and her name is Fontanna Kennedy. She is a soul-centered thought leader, and she is expert in human behavior and has run creative-based businesses for 7 years, helping people to find their own answers and live their own truth. So I hope you enjoy this. I hope you take so much from it, and I will see you on the other side. Take care. Okay, so hello, Fontana.
Hi.
I must say, you've got such a beautiful name.
Thank you. Thank you for pronouncing it right. Some people are Fontana, and it's actually Fontana. So yeah, appreciate it.
Where's it from? Where does it?
It's Italian.
Okay.
And I am Irish.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know.
Well, I'm called Adele, and that's a French name.
Right.
There you go. I think they love the names, don't they? Okay, so could you tell us a little bit about yourself, your past, your upbringing? You know, what was life like for you?
Yeah, sure. So for me, growing up, I came into this life as the last of 5 children. And so it was an interesting childhood because I was very much left to my own devices. So, you know, we can interpret that as abandonment, and it is on one level. And there's also, you know, what I've come to appreciate as a lot of freedom to explore my creative self. So there was a lot of that, a lot of room for that. And that led me to have some awesome experiences and some not so awesome experiences. And my family wasn't the most close-knit, so there was a lot of conflict around religion. So I had my eldest sister, Jehovah's Witness, my mum, Catholic.
Wow.
Wars.
Wow, yes.
On celebrations like Christmas, of course.
Yeah.
So, as you can imagine, it wasn't the most harmonious
I can imagine.
family to be raised in. And so what that actually did for me was definitely birth a desire to want to create harmony.
Okay.
And find that within myself, because obviously, because of the conditioning of being in that environment, I didn't feel very balanced as a child or in my younger years as an adult.
So what would you say, when would you say the age for you, the poignant age where you felt, right, this is it now, I want to do things my way, I'm going to embark on my own journey?
So I actually wrote in my diary, like when I was 13, I can't wait to be 16 so I can leave this house. And I still have the diary, actually. I found it. Yeah, so 16, just before my 17th, I left and I went to college dorms, and I actually ended up living with the Arsenal team, the ladies' Arsenal team. That's just where they were based as well. Yeah, so it was quite awesome watching their recent match. Some of the ladies are in the England squad as well. But yeah, so 16, I went off, and that was the beginning of the next journey.
Okay. So what is that journey? What was the journey? What happened on that journey? What was the kind of, I guess, what was the learnings of the journey, and what bits was you like, do you know what? okay, I've learnt my lesson there. I'm going to go off and do this bit now. Was it easy to navigate, or was it like flowing? Because now you're on your soul path, right? So now everything should be flowing nicely. Was it like that, or was it?
What do you think? There'd be no juicy story if it was like that.
All love
As
and light.
much as I wish, I'd love to say it was. Actually, do you know what? I would say, I wouldn't like to say it was so smooth anyway, because of the obvious, you know, I wouldn't be who I am without that journey. But yeah, so the journey was very much an exploration of codependency and trying and failing because I wasn't listening to myself, and being picked up by life and what I call earth angels, before I even knew what the term meant, in times of desperation and when I really needed some support, whether it be when I was about to be evicted or when I got kicked out of those college dorms. And being in the right place at the right time for a miracle. So very much kind of having moments in hindsight of, wow, you know, there was something bigger there looking out for me, because I didn't have a clue what I was doing. And I was just leaping and leaping again, and yeah, a lot of leaping and drowning.
So would you say though, even though you was doing all that leaping, you had that faith there that you, like you said, that you knew there was something bigger for you. It was just a case of you finding it. And obviously you was courageous enough to keep on going as well.
Yeah, I was definitely always courageous. Never confident,
Okay.
always courageous. Big difference.
Yeah.
And it was the courage, yeah, that drove me to make those leaps, to move out, you know, without any financial support, without any family support, without any support, apart from higher support, which is it. Sometimes the only support you got for a bit, right?
Exactly. And
Right.
when would you say that it was you started to really kind of knuckle down and collect and receive the guidance that you was given, and, you know, listen to your guides and walk forward? When would you say that happened?
Yeah, that was a very distinct moment. So 2012
Okay.
came, and I'd spent 2 years after uni failing at uni, and left without a degree. And I spent 2 years just so desperately trying to get anything at that point. And it wasn't my path to be employed and work as part of the system. And obviously I didn't realise that until the end of the 2 years, and I just had a moment of, what do I know that I want to do? It's like that moment of surrender. Okay, let me just stop going to interviews that I know are not for me, and what am I avoiding here? And it was facing my fear of public speaking, because that's why I failed uni. I failed uni because I didn't do the oral presentations. So it was the elephant in the room for 3 years and then another 2 years. And so it was like, okay, I need to face this fear.
Yeah. Wow.
And so the turning point was when I decided to face that fear. I started seeing the repeating numbers and all of that good stuff. And I went to a meetup on public speaking, and I met somebody there who saw my passion that had obviously been building in me over those years at uni, and the 2 years after. And he said he offered me the platform to start speaking and helping people. So that was the turning point for me, yeah.
Wow. So then what brought you onto your current journey now?
Right, so from that point, it's so true when people say it's not a straight line, because it's definitely not. So I never had a plan, I just had a passion. And the passion is always facing my fear from that point onwards. And so from that opportunity to help people on that platform, it was like everything just started to manifest one after the other. So I was speaking, and then people was hearing my story up to that point and resonating, and then they would just come and want the one-to-one coaching. I didn't even know what that was. And so I was just sort of winging it. I was like, yeah, I'll help you. I don't know what I'm doing, but you want my help, okay? It just felt right, because obviously I'd been trying to go down a path that wasn't mine, and the thing that was for me came a lot more easier. So obviously it just worked. So yeah, so that led on to me realizing that everybody who was coming to me for coaching was a reflection of stuff that I hadn't dealt with yet. So then I had another checkpoint with myself. It's like, okay, it's that time again. What am I avoiding? What do I need to face? And so I found myself rediscovering my gift for writing that I had as a child when I was having all that freedom to create. And I wrote a couple of books. And when I wrote those books, it was like a release. And that led me to be inspired towards the next thing, which was now I'm ready to actually enjoy myself. Because I'd faced my fear, and I'd done, as that writing process was very therapeutic, I found myself also doing some healing courses as part of that time. Felt natural for me to do that. And so I was releasing a lot of emotion, a lot of empathy for my family, for myself. And that's, as I say, when I got to the point of, okay, now it's time for me to enjoy myself. And I jumped on a course, which is a laughter yoga course. And and I ended up doing the training, and it was really just for me to let myself be happy again, to truly happy. And I ended up meeting somebody local. Again, it's about being sort of in the right place at the right time and making the right choice for myself. Met somebody local, and they wanted to fund laughter yoga in the community because it was a new initiative, new experience for people, and they was really backing it and supporting it. And so I did that up until lockdown.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That just sounds like, wow. I've never heard of laughter yoga before. So what, you're actually doing yoga and you're laughing your way through the poses? Like, how does it work?
Yeah, not exactly. So the yoga part is the breathing and the movement, but it's not typical downward dogs and planks and all of that. No, it's literally accessing creativity, playfulness, imagination. So all of those elements in games.
Okay.
And so it's very playful, it's very inner child-like, and Yeah, very different.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is that distinction. A lot of people assume just because of the yoga part it will be like this,
Uh-huh.
but
Amazing.
it's more, the breathing is obviously a very important part, because as much as, you know, stress or anxiety or sadness can be exhausting, laughing can also be exhausting as well on the body.
Yeah.
So we always come back to the breath just to get the balance again.
Oh, sounds absolutely phenomenal.
It is, it's a lot.
Yeah. So is this something that you do with your clients now?
So I stopped doing the one-to-one client sessions when I did my books, and then I started doing group work because the laughter yoga was predominantly group based. And then from the laughter yoga, because it wasn't really transferring well online, well, I wasn't, it is online and it's great, other people do it, but for myself personally, I wasn't resonating with doing it online. So I then actually picked up one of my past life gifts around being a psychic reader. So I started doing psychic readings with people on a one-to-one basis over lockdown.
And how did you find that?
It was amazing. It's like, you know, it's incredible when you're able to pick up on people's souls, where they've been, what their blocks are, and where their journey is, what their path is.
So was this a gift that you'd always had, but you just never kind of navigated the path?
Yes, yeah. So I'm like fifth generational gypsy psychic
Okay.
in my lineage. So all my dad's side, Irish gypsies, and do the readings. And my mum, she's also psychic, but she lived in a time when so fear-based to, you know, do that sort of work. So she never did it on that level. So yeah, so it's just hereditary and
Yeah.
whatever else you want to call it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you done your readings, and then what happened from there? Opened up.
Yeah, so from there, when we started coming back out again, the same lady who picked up the laughter yoga, she invited me to do some more services. So I've, again, as a child, a lot of creative things were part of my upbringing. So I was a dancer for many years. And so I felt like it, again, very intuitive when I do things. I just felt like it was exactly what I needed, you know, because of lockdown and everything. And I'd had a miscarriage as well through lockdown. So there was a lot of like, all right, I'm ready to pick myself up again and do what I love and take that to others. So I was doing, actually just finishing dance classes throughout the last year,
Okay.
and we're wrapping up now in the summer.
Ah, is it a sort
Yeah.
of specialized type of dance, or is it just?
Yeah, so this dancing is very different to what I was raised on. I was raised doing Irish dancing.
Okay.
And again, one of the things that birthed through me from that was this sense of, how can we give people back their freedom? And how can I take back mine and not be restricted to somebody else's rules and steps and, you know, all them quite literal terms in dancing, but applicable in life. And so the dancing that I've led is very free flow, very conscious movement, and it's been about helping people reconnect with what their body feels like, and it's nudging them to move like, and what sounds might want to come out of their body to certain sounds of music. And so it's very exploratory again, and very much empowering people to go within themselves.
Sounds amazing. I think that's like embodiment type work, isn't it? With the movement and really embodying everything that you are. And like you said, moving and flowing and making noises how you feel to move and flow and make the noise, and not like what's being directed at you to do. And also, I think that type of dance, it's kind of one of those things that initially people would be quite embarrassed to do, I'd guess. And then it's like once they start and they realise how beautiful it feels, it kind of opens up certain areas for them as well, you know. And it's kind of like, if I can do this, then I can do anything. Because you'd never think before that I'd be swaying and doing all of these moves, you know, and listening to my body so much. So yeah, I can totally see how it helps them to unlock other areas within them. So that's absolutely beautiful. Do you have any like cool stories or a success story around a client and that type of work that you've done with them? Is there anything that, you know, anyone that's come to you and said, oh my gosh, has a result, this is what I've done?
Gosh, yeah, of course, yeah. Which one do I pick? I think on a whole, you know, my mission being to help people find their own answers and live their own truths according to their highest self, their soul. I love the fact that a couple of clients who I have coached, they were like really just identified with a negative self, the conditioned self, the false self, full of fears and limitations from their cultural upbringing. And yeah, those two came from, so one of them was actually a dancer, a strip club dancer. And so she, after being supported and the safe space and the direction back to self, was able to find her true calling also as a coach, funny enough, but to actually move away, completely from what didn't obviously serve her soul. And it's steps, you know. At the beginning, she just took the next leap and found herself using that creativity in a new way and doing makeup and something that was like, okay, you know, a little bit more kinder to herself. And then now she's actually moved away, then she moved away to America and built a whole new life and found a partner and now has a thriving business. Yeah, so she started off in a London strip club and now she's abroad. Yeah, so I have a few like that. I have another one, a gentleman who had a similar sort of story with like, it's really just the a lot of it is the limitations that they've absorbed really by their elders, who have just not had the support and courage and awareness to break free and live their truth and their gifts. And so that conditioning's just been passed on and limited, you know, those individuals as well. And that's the most liberating thing, to see somebody just live their truth.
Mm-hmm. So obviously you do a lot of work within, would you say that the work that you do is within that 5D kind of energy all the time? So from the moment you get up, that is where you are?
Oh, I like that question. Yeah, it's a really great question, because obviously, as you know, psychic and creative and for the longest time, it was really easy for me to not be very grounded, let's put it that way. And so one of my big interests is astrology. Amazing tool for discovering how you're designed and what works for you and what doesn't, etc., etc. And I actually study it through the framework of human design, which is an incredible school of offerings as well. And so in the mornings now, for the longest time I didn't, but in the mornings now, being true to my design, I have Virgo rising, which basically means when you rise, Virgo is an earth sign, very practical sign. I am meant to be focusing on practicalities and not spiritual things. So I now get up and I do my kitchen clean and I do whatever is obvious to me needs my practical attention. So yes, that's the answer to that question.
Okay, that's really interesting because, I mean, I'm not hot on. I don't know a lot about astrology, but I do know my rising is Libra. So what's that? That's like balance, is it?
Yeah.
In the morning.
So you'd be doing a lot of thinking in the morning.
A lot of what? Sorry.
Thinking.
I guess I do. I mean, I go into meditation, and then it's like, okay, this is what I've got to do for the day, sort of thing. I need that. Otherwise, I feel off balance. Pretty much.
Yes. Yeah, that's a really, really crucial point that you just made. We need to honour, and like you said, you know, not many people are aware of astrology or their rising sign and all this stuff, but a lot of people are interested now and just willing to be open to anything that will work to support them to live the life that they authentically are here to live. And to be, when you do live in alignment with your rising sign in the morning, you feel good. Yes. It's not one size fit all, we're all different.
Of course. So for you, what is kind of like the plan going forward? What would you like to see, like for Fontanna and your business, and what is it that you want?
Yeah, so moving forward, so the dancing is finishing now this summer. In the autumn, I'm looking to launch a 5-day challenge, which is going to be supporting people like myself who have that hidden gift for writing and really want to get more grounded in themselves and connect to their own answers and their own higher self in a really grounded way. So there's going to be a lot more honing in on the writing side moving forward. Yeah. Because there's so many people with books in them and not just books, you know. I think books is such the obvious one, but
poetry.
I mean, I can only just sort of go by my own journey and what life shows me is possible and how to think outside the box as well and not just confine ourselves to what's been, but the new leaders are here to also create new things, right? Mm-hmm. So life has a funny way of showing us new ways of doing things, or ways that is in the highest good.
So what would you, if someone was to say to you, okay, Fontanna, give me like 3 things that I should be doing to connect with my higher self, like 3 poignant things that's quite important, like, because I find it so hard and don't have a clue.
Nice. Okay, so the first thing I would say is do the breath of life. It's the most powerful to get a person back to the heart, the higher self, the heart. And so you can visualize the Ankh. So you do the 7 inhale sequence of breath up into the crown, above the crown, and then bring it back round into the heart as you're breathing out for 3. and just repeat that and repeat it. And as much as, you know, you can remember, set the intention to do that, you're really going to feel that connection with peace and light and all of those real more harmonious energies start coming in. So that would be the first one for sure. The second one I would say is, there's quite a few, so I'm trying to filter out the most essential ones. Yeah, we'll have to be biased and say it's the things that I have sort of been doing with people, to be fair. So movement, for sure. Anything that can get a person out of their heads, in a nutshell. So, yeah, I don't want to influence necessarily and say, oh, do it this way. Definitely not. Goes the opposite of what I'm for, and say, do dancing because, there might be men listening and they're not drawn towards that. But anything that they can do with intent, so that gets them out their head.
Could be like going to the gym, having a workout.
I mean, if they're not a super sensitive person where, they might, it depends on their energy type as well with the gym, I would say specifically, because if they're going to go to the gym and just be like an open energy channel for everyone else's gunk, then I wouldn't say gym. But obviously with, knowledge of self, wherever you are with that, honour that, and use that as your guide as to what that might look like for you.
Okay. Cool.
But definitely movement, yeah.
Yeah, movement, yeah. I would probably say that's a big one as well. Even just to move, you just feel, you could be having the crappiest day, but when you just even go for a walk even and just take in nature and come back after half an hour, you just feel like, it's done something to me and I feel so much better now. So yeah, movement
100%.
and it takes you out of, like you said, out of your mind and just kind of, you're free because you're wandering and you're looking, you're taking in nature and you're listening to sounds and, just zoning out, if you like. So yeah, no, I love that. Thank you.
That would be my third one. Yeah, that's my third one.
What's that?
Nature.
Nature, yes.
Connect with nature, yeah. Because a lot of souls, just say to be a bit woo-woo for a sec, a lot of souls have literally lived in the Amazon, in past lives, and they've literally had those tribal lives where they were based in nature. And so their connection to nature is very much an activation and can support them to really get their higher selves downloads, and those downloads from their soul's records of what their gifts are. And, I'm able to literally touch a tree and channel a poem like that, but it's not that's a 5D thing, right? That's a thing where being in that setting is just gold for higher self, as you say.
Yeah and I want to say as well that takes practice as well, because it's like, because if you're not kind of in that mindset and then you go out into nature and touch trees, you may not get the inspiration that we would get. So, I have to say that it kind of takes practice and centering and understanding what nature's all about and what qualities all of these things within nature hold as well, so that you can tune into them. But yeah, no, I love it. All great stuff. Okay, so what I find, and I heard you say a little bit about this earlier, that grounding and protection is always like a difficult thing for people. They're coming into this spiritual world and they're like, oh, I don't know how to, or I don't do it enough, or whatever.
Mm,
And I always tell people that once you find your thing, it's kind of like
hmm.
the thing that you do. It's like pretty
Yeah,
much you do it religiously. And
yeah.
so I kind of want to get my guests that come on to just kind of let the listeners know what it is they do to ground and protect, so that people can get a bit of an idea.
Nice, love that. Yeah, yeah, it's really important. So important. For me, it's the most important.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so what I do is qigong,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just a quick sequence, and it's literally, I think it's they do it in emotional freedom technique as well. It's like tapping, but it's not known as tapping in qigong. But essentially, it's just getting on the meridian points. So just straight away wakes your energy up, gets you in your body. I do it every morning when I'm having a bit of a slump. A bit of the Tony Robbins, yes, because you're hitting your sides as well.
Mm-hmm.
And though it's literally like a 30-second routine, tap in there on your heart, on the back, and then the legs down. And then I do a few other qigong moves like the swinging of the arm, they call it knocking on heaven's door and yoga. So it's quite a bit of a crossover with a few different things actually, qigong, which is why I love it. Um, but yeah, and also, how can I forget? I have one right here. The essential oils. Yeah, yeah, they are a must
Uh-huh.
for sure.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing that with us. And another little question for you. What's your favourite crystal and why?
Favorite crystal. Okay, I have to say selenite. Um, yeah, just because it's a self cleanser, cleanses all the other crystals around it. It's kind of like what do they call it? The big honcho, or whatever they call it in Mexico. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like that one, It's like the king of crystals.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and it's pure white, so it's obviously, got that aspect of the beauty to look at and the purity of the colour.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, selenite.
Amazing. Okay, so just to wrap up, I just want you to like let the listeners know about any. I know you kind of briefly spoke about the challenge that you're starting up in the autumn, but do you have any other things going on, like courses or any workshops that you want to share?
So with that challenge, I'm actually going to be launching a new company.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, so it's all new things to come. So it's
Uh-huh.
really going to be supporting people who are just done with doing loads of courses, to be honest, in terms of courses that tell you what to do
Mm-hmm.
and make themselves the authority over something that you should be doing, that you're not doing, to get something that you haven't got.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really breaking out of that. So the things that I'll be offering in this new company is going to be radically different to what is currently on offer in that sense.
Yeah.
And so as I say, we're going to kick off with the challenge, and then I'm going to leave the rest for people's higher selves to be called towards if it's for them, and that's always what's worked best for me. So I don't market in the traditional way just because there's a lot of agenda. I don't operate that way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not about getting and all of that stuff in that way, in that manipulative way. It's just not what I'm here to be about, and all that stuff. So yes, the challenge, but people can reach out to me
Yeah.
by Facebook or email. I
Uh-huh.
can pop that in, and
If you can.
yes, definitely. I'm all about connecting on a personal level as well. So any
Mm-hmm.
questions for anything that's we've spoke about or anything else, I directly respond to them.
Amazing. And how exactly can people find you, Fontana?
So I'm on Facebook under Fontana, and also, my email is fontana@email.com. It's really easy.
Simple and easy to remember.
Yep.
But I'll put it
Yep.
all in the notes of the podcast anyway. And your challenge is starting when?
September.
Okay. Do we have a date or no?
First week, so probably September the 4th.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, well, thank you so much for coming on. It's been like, I've learnt about laughing yoga. Like, I need to look into this a bit more. Can kids do it?
Very
as well?
fun. Yeah, there's like a whole week's worth. Every day, all day, they do free classes online.
Ah,
Yeah, so I'm happy to post a link to that as well. Yeah.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, for sure. So if any of you listeners are out there and you're wanting to know more, please get in contact with Fontana. She's got some amazing gifts and medicine to share. And yeah, thank you so much, Fontana, again for coming on.
Thank you, Adele. It's been a pleasure. Thanks.
Thank you. And we will connect again soon.
Yeah.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
The episode. And to stay connected, please follow us on YouTube under Adele McCoy. And you can also find me on Facebook, Adele McCoy. And you can also find me on Instagram, Adele McCoy. Or you can find me on my website, which is www.adelemccoy.com. Make sure that you are subscribed to this channel and you are sharing and liking and doing all of those amazing things. Much appreciated. Big love. Until next time, take care.